You're in for something really special today, RC drivers. Over there, under the lights on the workbench is the Arrma Vendetta 4x4 3S BLX Speed Basher. This thing is gonna be so much fun to drive, and I know this because I've already reviewed the Infraction 4x4 and I had an absolute blast with it. So let's head over to the workbench and I'm gonna tell you what's different about this model and why it's gonna go so fast. The Vendetta, that's just a cool name to say. I remember when Duratrax had a small buggy called the Vendetta. That was a lot of fun, but I think this one is going to be a lot more fun. This is built to go fast. If you've been thinking about building a speed car or buying a speed car, a little worried about pricing and such, this one is one to seriously check out. This one can go 70 miles an hour out of the box, and it's backed up with some killer styling. Now, when I first saw this body, I was kind of thinking Pikes Peak Racer, but it looks like it's gonna be sleek and aerodynamic, so you can really get some high speeds out of this machine. So let's take a closer look because there's a lot of details on there that you can't really see in photos, and hopefully you can see it in the video here. The body graphics are absolutely wild. It comes in two different colors. We've obviously got this lime green, and then they have a purple version as well. You can see that on the box art. But if you look really close, this is actually kind of a two-tone paint, I guess. I forgot what they called it on their website, but it's painted from the inside and it's actually painted on the outside. So if you look really close, you can see the lines in the body here. This is painted on the outside. Just really cool technique, but this one stands out when you see it up close. Let's look up front here. We've got this kind of blunt nose, little lip on the bottom. We've got these vents over the wheels, which is pretty cool. I'm guessing that's to help let air out as this thing's traveling at high speeds. We've got vents in the rear as well. We've got this fin on the roof. Check out that nice bubble canopy on there. Love that. And then look at this spoiler out back. That thing is serious. We've got a high downforce upper deck on here, and they actually give you a cut down version as well. So you could actually tune with your spoiler on here, which is pretty neat. But overall, really good look. Now it does have body posts, and they are 8 scale size because this is an 8 scale size vehicle. They got the tethers on there for the body clips. And let me spin this around so you could check out the diffuser out back, because this is absolutely wild. Look at that, how cool is this? So this is the molded diffuser that comes on the car, and it's actually on the Infraction 4x4 as well. And this one actually has an additional Lexan piece. It's painted gunmetal on the top, and then they highlight it in this red, which just makes it really stand out and look cool. But you can see the back end of the body is cut out to let all the air out. So it's built for speed, and I think it's going to be a great base for a lot of builds for those that want to take it even a step farther than it is right out of the box. But the wheels here, these are the new Hoons 11 tires, and they're mounted on these nice gunmetal looking wheels, spoke wheels, really stiff wheel, and the tire package here, it feels like it's got a nice sticky rubber, because you obviously want this thing to stick to the ground, but you also want it to last long so you're not blowing through tires. They could get kind of expensive. All right, let me just flip the body over here so you can see they have some of their decals on the bottom to prevent the chassis from rubbing up against it. And here is the chassis itself. So if you've seen my Infraction 4x4 video, this chassis probably looks familiar, and that's because it's pretty much the same exact thing. I'm not gonna go over every little detail, just gonna point out some of the highlights here. This is the long wheelbase chassis. They've revised the suspension on here. We've got shorter shocks, new towers, shorter arms, really bulky caster blocks and steering knuckles, same with the rear hubs, short slider universals in here. And the changes are the front bumper, the foam part of the front bumper here. So they've got this sculpted front bumper that fits nicely into the front of the body there to keep it nice and stable and still offer protection for it. One other thing I do want to point out about the suspension is they have a sway bar in there now that helps with keeping chassis roll in check. So this thing handles really well. And then moving back here on the center drive shaft, we've got a ball bearing to help stabilize that under high speeds. That wasn't in the Mega version. They always use this bearing setup with the brushless system, so that's cool that that's in there. And then again, out back, we've got this addition to the diffuser, this Lexan piece here, and a really good looking chassis setup overall. On the electronics, they've mounted everything as low as possible in here. With the Mega, they had the speed controller on top of the radio box, but as you can see, the speed controller is mounted lower here, and plenty of room so you could put different size packs in here, 2S packs and 3S LiPo packs. And you know, the differentials are rated for 4S, so if you go and upgrade your electronics later on down the road, you'll have room to expand your battery as well. I'm just throwing things out there for those of you that like to go and tinker with things, make things even faster than they are out of the box. But let's go over some of the electronics, because that's really the heart of this beast, what's really gonna make this thing fly. So we'll start at the steering servo. It's the S651 metal geared servo, high torque, and you know, plenty of speed as well, waterproof. So this is a great servo for this vehicle. I kind of wish that they included that with the Mega as well. That had plastic geared servo in it, so I really like this for a ready to run. In the receiver box here is the Spectrum 2000A receiver, which has AVC in it, which will help keep this under control. And if you could, of course, go and dial it out if you want the full driving experience. Then right behind it, we have the Arrma 100 amp speed controller. This is equipped with 12 gauge wire on here, IC5 connector, and it's even got the smart wire. We've got capacitors on the wires as well. And it has a cooling fan. It is programmable, waterproof, everything you want out of a Spectrum system. And then moving back, we've got the Spectrum motor that is going to be a beast. It's a 3900 kV motor, and it's fitted with this cooling fan and heatsink setup. This is what's going to propel this car to 70 miles an hour with some optional stuff. I'm going to tell you about that in a second, but moving back, the motor is attached to a nice aluminum motor plate that is different from the Mega as well. And when you have a high-speed system in there, I really like that that motor is bolted down to a chunk of aluminum. I think that's a lot better. Behind that is a slipper clutch. It's the castellated slipper pad setup. It's kind of a fiberglass looking slipper pad, single pad, 32 pitch gears, and a very large pinion gear on there. And they give you an additional pinion gear. I'm going to show you that in a minute. 26 tooth, massive pinion gear, which is what's going to push this thing to higher speeds. It's set up out of the box just for your general bashing, your street speed bashing, all-road bashing as they call it. So it's set up for fun. You know, you want to be careful. You don't always want to run on a high-speed pinion. That's when electronics get hot, and that's when things can happen. So, you know, make sure that you're aware of when to use what type of pinion with this. So that's really about it for changes to this car. I don't think I've missed anything, and if I did, please let me know in the comments section below. But again, I've already driven this as the Infraction 4x4, really fun chassis. I can't wait to see how fast this thing goes. All right, now this is the additional stuff that it comes with. We've got the DX3 radio system. This is their smart radio. Again, you can see the battery level if you're using a smart battery on there, and you could go and get the optional Bluetooth module so you could use their dashboard with it. Very good basic radio. I've used that in a number of cars. We've got your instruction manuals. Here is that lower deck spoiler that I told you guys about before. We've got a multi-tool, some Allen wrenches, and the large pinion gear. And you can see it's the safe D5 pinion gear. It's got the D-shaped inner shaft setup, and it's held in with an E-clip as well. And I believe a set screw, there's the set screw, but that's gonna secure that pinion gear when you're ripping around. All right, there's the box art again. You like the purple one, or you like the lime yellow one here? This one really stands out to me. It's gonna look really good ripping around some parking lots, so let's head outside now and see how fast this car goes. All right, drivers, time to do some talking and driving with the Vendetta. I tried to get some close-up footage for you guys, but man, with a high-speed car, it's a little scary, so I'm just putting the camera on my head, and we're gonna do some ripping around with this thing in this parking lot here. Now, this is stock out of the box, and as you can see, this parking lot is not big enough. This thing still has more gear in it. It wants to rip really bad. I can only imagine what it's like with the higher speed gear in there. But one thing I noticed, this thing really plants itself when you're at full throttle. Some garbage over there, keep hitting it. But man, that thing is quick. Around the lot here. Whoa. Got a lot of body roll in the corners. As you can see, it comes out of that corner there. It wants to roll out. Might have to do a little bit of camber rod tuning in the rear. But if you're just doing straight line rips, I think you're good. Look at that. Plants itself and it just takes off. Definitely need some runway for it though to get this thing up to top speed. Now, I did get a rock in the steering on this, so I had to go unwedge that. It was over by the servo saver. But that's the only issue I had. Now, I did notice I've been running this a bunch already, and it is starting to eat away at the tires. So just a heads up there. Definitely don't do donuts. It will eat away at the tires. And just rip through the islands here on this. I do like the body roll when you can control it. It looks pretty neat. Look at that. Yeah, high speed corner there. Woo. This is cool. That's definitely got some rip to it. Oh man, that rock took off. Look at that thing go. I'm just gonna finish off this battery pack, ripping around the parking lot here. Yeah, I like that squat that this thing has. Now, when I had the body off, I noticed that those tires are getting torn up. Looks like they have a lot of traction to them. And you can see it's got a lot of forward momentum here. Oh, look at that. My battery's going low. That's what's pretty cool about that smart radio. Love that stuff. All right, so since the battery's dead, I think it's time to wrap this one up. All right, guys, time for a top speed test right out of the box with a 50C Spectrum 3S pack. Here we go. Roll into the throttle. This thing is moving. Yeah, whoa. Awesome. That thing tracks really straight. All right, let's see what we got here. Where's my phone timed out? Read 57 miles an hour. That's pretty awesome.
Well, if you like to go straight and like to go really fast, I seriously recommend checking out the Vendetta 4x4. This thing is just a rocket. I had a blast driving it, and it's really a high-speed machine. To be honest with you, when you're driving it around kind of for fun, doing figure eights and stuff like that, might not be the best car for you if you're looking for that versatility, but if you are looking to rocket down a roadway, this thing is absolutely awesome. My heart was pounding when I was driving this thing. My adrenaline was definitely going. I could see the draw behind high-speed cars such as this. And this, I think, is going to be a great entry for a lot of people into high-speed runs. If you've been thinking about doing it, a little worried about the cost or the size of some of the larger vehicles that are out there, let's say from Arrma, I think this is a perfectly sized machine, and it's definitely going to, get your heart racing. So, I took it out in the beginning at a parking lot next to a home center, and it wasn't a big enough space for this, and that's something you have to consider when you're picking up a car like this is, do you have the space to run it? Do you have the space to reach top speed if that's what you're looking for? So over there in that parking lot, I wasn't able to get the top speed. However, it was pretty cool just rocketing back and forth. I was definitely excited about how it was performing. And then when I started kind of ripping around the lot there, that's when I started to notice how it's really not a road style of car. If you're looking for that versatility where you could drive it around at high speeds, You know, when it's on power, it pushes, it's got understeer, and when you're off power, it can go and loop out on you through a corner. So, you know, if you're into power sliding and stuff like that, maybe it's gonna be good, but you know, when you do that, it starts to wear out the tires, especially if you're busting donuts a lot. It will start to really kill the tires, and I had to rotate the tires on this because it wore out the rears pretty well, down to the bottom of the tread, basically. But when I found larger lots, that's when things really got exciting with this thing, and I was able to open it up, and in one of the lots there, when I had my speed meter in it, it hit 57 miles an hour. So that's a pretty wild speed for right out of the box. Zero changes whatsoever, and you know, they give you the optional spoiler in there, which will cut down on the drag because it's cut lower, and then they give you the optional pinion gear, so you could go 70, and I am going to attempt that. That is going to be in a follow-up video. So they did a great job with this thing. I don't have anything to really report. The gears are kind of noisy in there because they have that larger pitch to them, the 1.35 mod, so you can kind of hear a little bit of gear train noise. The noise I really like, and let me know in the comment section below if you love this noise as well, is when the body ticks on the ground as you're ripping down the street high speed, and the body's clicking, and it's just the coolest sound in the world. Let me know if you think that as well in the comment section below. But it's just so neat the way this car drives. The rear end squats, I loved it. I had a great time with it. So yeah, we're gonna do a follow-up video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notifications bell. Throw the video a like, and when you're in the comment section below, if you have any other things you want me to talk about in the follow-up video, let me know there, and I will try to incorporate it. All right, guys, we'll see you back soon for some more RC Driver videos.